welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at question 602, friend requests to who has the most friends. The way we'll be approaching this problem is by using this function called union all. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start it step by step, right? Let's just get how many requests did the requester ID get. So let's do select requester ID. Let's just grab this. Right, and then we get count of all. We count all the rows from, what's the name of the table? Request accepted. And then we group by requester ID, right? Requester ID. So what we're trying to do is that, okay, just like group all of the requester IDs, see how many requests did that particular ID send out. So the table looks like, okay, for one has sent out 2 requests, 2 has sent out 1 request, 3 has sent out 1 request, right? So this is the data that we see. It looks good, but we also need the other side of the data, right? So basically the acceptor, right? So let's try to do that. And then we just get the acceptor ID. And then let's try running this, right? And then when you run that, you see that that tells you, okay, 2 sent out 1 request, 3 sent out 2 requests, and 4 sent out 1 request. So it seems like these 2 statements have data together of what we want, right? At least close to what we want. So we need to combine this data. So how do we combine this data? We combine this data using union all. So union all is a function that combines 2 different tables based on the name of the rows and the data types. So if the data types are similar and then like the column names are similar, it'll just like combine all of the data. But there's also a function called union, and there's a function called union all. So union, what it does, it just tries to get like the unique values across both of these tables. But we need everything because each row represents something different. It's not duplicated data. It's actually data that we care about. So as I said, we need to have similar name, like same column names. So let's do that. We name that as ID, and then we name that as request count. And then let's just do that here as well, then as ID. All right, so if we do this, what happens if we combine all of the data? So if we combine all the data, we see that the first 3 rows are coming from what we saw earlier. How many did requests were sent out and how many were accepted, right? So it seems like this table right now has the data combined in some form that we care about. But we need to get the sum of that, right? So we need to be able to get, oh, 2, you see 2 here, we need to add that up. We see 3 and 3 here, we need to add that up. So how do we go about doing that? So we go about doing that by acting on this data together. So if we want to act on this data, let's like rename it, right? With all request count as. So what we're doing here is we are basically saying take this data and put it in a table together, and we call it as request count, and we act on this data, right? So let's do just select all from all request count, right? So let's just look, right? Like what does the data look like? Ideally, there should be no change. This looks like something that we saw previously, and this looks good, right? So now that we can pick from this table, what do we need? We need the ID, right? And then we need to add it up, right? So we do sum, and then we do the sum across request count, right? But we need to group it because we need to sum it up only across different IDs. So what does this look like? So let's just group it and run it. Oh, group by. Sorry, let's try that again. All right, this is looking like the data that we actually care about. Now it's just a question of ordering, right? So we need to order it. We need to order it by this column, right? And we need to rename it as num anyway, so let's rename it as num, and then we order by num, but it should be descending. So let's run this, and we see that the order is in descending, which is amazing, and we care about only the person who has most friends, right? Not in real life, just for the question, haha. And then we just limit it to one person. So if we try running this now, it will give us the question, the answer that we care about. Amazing. So let's try submitting this and see if that works. Amazing, that works. All right, so if you have any questions for this problem, please let me know in the comments below. If there are any other questions that you would like me to solve, also please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. I would really, really appreciate that. It keeps me motivated to make more videos. Thanks so much, and I'll see you folks